Hey everybody, this is Dead Gamer. It's been about a month. I've been super busy, shockingly. And yes, I got rid of the beard that was getting all crazy, and I got a haircut finally, which is awesome because it has been a balmy 80 something degrees daily over here in the California. Just craziness for April for some of you, I'm sure, but yeah, it's been kind of hot, and rolling around with a beard and long hair has just not been the greatest thing to be doing when it gets this hot this quickly. So, good move on my behalf. Anyhow, this video is a video response to the Miniatures Paintbrush. Again, this is my second video response to the Miniatures Paintbrush. Regarding, I'm looking down here at my little note thing, his FAQ and future of GW. Video that he just put out recently, either today or yesterday. It's April the 30th. I wanted to make a video response to this because I think typing is just kind of boring. No, I just like making videos. In all honesty, they're fun to do. I just haven't been doing them, so I failed. And that's not a roll of toilet paper, that's paper towels. I'm not creepy like that. That would be kind of weird. Oh, and also, boom! Look at that! I decided to wear my The Miniatures Paintbrush t-shirt that I purchased. I purchased a few of them from good old Rob to help him out, get his computer money going. And, brother, I think you charged too little for shipping, my friend. Because, if memory serves me, shipping on the little label you sent was more than you asked for. So, don't cut yourself short. Hit us all up for more money. Because we probably won't send you any. Ouch! No, I totally will. Because you're the man. So, anyway, total just random talking. But, this video is about Mr. Rob's FAQs in the future GW. And, I have a different perspective of sort of the way you're looking at it versus the way I sort of look at it. And I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. Because you mentioned the FAQ that had come out, and I read through some of it. First and foremost, I am not, and I know that I've said this multiple times, but I'm not a power gamer or any of that. I just like to play the game. When I do have a chance to play the game, I want to just have fun, roll some dice, drink some beer, have some laughs, and that is the goal, you know? I think everybody wins when you do that. There was a time in my life, however, where I was super competitive, and I did go to a tournament, like an official tournament. I got my ass handed to me by Black Templars, but in general, even when I was competitive, it was just locally, like the local scene, friends and things like that, game stores. Yeah, I was all about exploiting rules and stuff like that. So I do understand that place, and I understand that that style of gaming definitely has a demographic of people that like to do that. But I think the game as a whole is meant to be enjoyed however you really want to enjoy it. It's got nothing to do with how other people perceive you to enjoy it, because then just don't play those other people, right? I guess if you're in a situation, because you're just like, well, hey, what if your situation is you're on the far this side and your only other players are all over here? Well, then I guess you're kind of in a shit spot, and that's unfortunate. But I don't think that's a very common case. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm just full of it. But I find that kind of hard to believe. So, and maybe there are more people over here, and they're intimidated by all the people over here, and you just happen to be the first one to sort of be like, hey, I'm this kind of person or gamer. You guys are these kind of gamers. And then other people who would totally get into the game but are afraid to because they're intimidated by these guys start seeing you, and they go, hey, yeah, no, we could actually start playing 40K, because they're not all about just instantly crushing my face, and they just want to have a good time, roll some dice, and not necessarily push around the latest and greatest models on the table and or fanciest rules or whatever. They just want to move some cool stuff. And I get that, because I'm all about moving cool stuff. Says the man with boxes behind him. Looks like I'm moving, huh? I'm not moving. I had a horrible, horrible thing happen to me. So, yes, tangent. We're 5 minutes in, and I am just tangenting all over the place. But that's how I feel initially. So talking about the FAQ, I got my little notes over here. Pretty rad, huh? I've come prepared. I got a little post-it note, or whatever they're called. Things, cards. So you talked about the FAQ and sort of its impact or its effect on new players and how people would perceive that as being too much, I think. I think that's kind of where you were going with what you were talking about, is that you get a new person, he's got this tome of rules he has to look through. Then he has this tome of a rule book or a codex, if he even buys it. Most new people, like when I got into the game and all my friends got into the game, we just played with the rules. Well, back then it was second ed, so it was 3 different books with the main book. It was a war gear book, a rule book, and then an army book that had all the armies in it, generic ones before the codexes. And I don't even know. I haven't even really thumbed through this new rule book because I bought it. What did it come out in 2016? I think it did, 8th edition. And sadly, I have not really looked into it too much, and that's how much I really care about playing by the rules. We've adopted a few things through people saying, hey, you can do this now, and we're like, cool. And we've looked a few things up, but I mean, I've got 20 some odd, almost 30 years of Warhammer 40K under my belt, so we just kind of roll dice and have a blast, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the overwhelmingness of a rule book, the overwhelmingness of a codex, and adding a FAQ to all of that, and your concern for the new player for that. And I think, in all honesty, and obviously I speak for what I feel is the majority, and I'm sure there are going to be people that disagree, even new players, but I wrote little notes about that too, and we'll talk about that. But I don't feel like the FAQ is designed for new players. I feel like the FAQ is designed to fix changes or to make changes to the game that people have exploited or that people have lawyered and gotten away with, like the new flyer rules, where people were using flyers to block movement, and in real life, a jet wouldn't inhibit you from crossing under it. All those kind of things, you know, the FAQ, I get it. I get that it's there to clean up verbiage and things like that, but if the weight of your game lies on one sentence for one rule for one particular army, then you're probably a pretty advanced player. And I don't think it's going to change a new player's time, his enjoyment or her enjoyment or lack thereof, any differently. If they knew they could move past a flyer or knew they couldn't move past a flyer. Because I think if you have a scenario where 2 new people are playing, if I was playing and my buddy was playing and we were moving models and he had a jet, I'd just move under it. And I don't think he'd sit there and go, well, the rules say you can't do that, because I don't think that would even come into our brain. I don't think we're even there developmentally with understanding how miniature gaming works. So, in all honesty, and I love you to death, Rob, I think your concern for the FAQ and its effect on new people um, is more. It almost feels like now. I feel like I'm like being a psychiatrist. Oh, I gotta take a sip of beer. Ugh, I waited 10 minutes to do that in 17, 18 seconds. That's true love, my friend. So, I don't even think my girlfriend gets that long before I drink. Ouch. I love her though. She's pretty badass. But anyhow, yeah, man, I don't think the FAQ is going to phase a new player, and I don't think it's important to a new player. And maybe, I know you're not a new player. You've been around the block, chicka wow wow, but I think your gaming tendencies, and just from watching your videos and sort of knowing or listening to you talk about the frustrations that you have with the game and your enjoyments, but your wishes and hopes. I think that you're probably in one of those small groups where the majority of the people that you normally are around are over here, and they're way too serious, perhaps, for you, and that's spoiling your good time. Oh, Meatball! That's the cat. Oh, I got sad news too. That was Meatball. That was epic. That was an epic, just, what do they call it? A photo bomb? Meatball just photo bombed us. Gray Baby, my old awesome Gray Baby cat. She passed away. Let's make things sad for a minute. So that was another thing that happened about 2 months ago, month and a half ago. Gray Baby passed. She was awesome. She was 17 and change. She had an awesome life. And she just died in her sleep, which is the most we could all ask, right? It's just passing in our sleep. She was a sweet, sweet cat. And I'm not going to go on about that anymore because it gets me all emotional. And I know I probably don't sound like I'm emotional, but I'm just trying to keep my shit together right now because I don't want to get all teary-eyed talking about the best cat on the planet. Enough about that. Back to Rob. Back to your trials and tribulations with this group, and you should be over here playing with other like-minded people. So yeah, man, I think that I wouldn't, if I was in your place, I wouldn't take the FAQ verbatim, like even pay much mind to it. And if you play with people that don't really care so much, because I don't think you're that like competitive, in all honesty, and you're probably more like me. And I mean, I don't even use points. We use the power level thing kind of as like loose based rules sort of thing. I mean, it just depends, right? It depends on how serious you want to have a game and how involved you want to be. I mean, I rarely have any time to play, and when I do, I just want to have a blast. I don't want to sit there and just thumb through rules and bicker about stupid shit. Yeah. Real life is far too serious. Wargaming should be fun, in my opinion. If you don't have much of like adult responsibilities and you got it good, like maybe you're a trust fund baby, or maybe you hit the lotto and all you do is wargame and you just take it super serious, then I am envious. Because if I was in your shoes, I'd probably be the same way. But I'm not, and I won't be probably. Fingers crossed. Maybe I will one day. If I win that lotto, that'd be sweet. But odds are it's not going to happen, and I'm okay with that. So while I do have the time, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm not going to sit there and be frustrated about stupid shit. I'm sorry. I know you don't cuss a lot. I don't even think you cuss. That's pretty rad. But I'm horrible. I just dropped the S bombs and the A bombs and all kinds of bombs. So I am not a what is it when you get like a video or a movie or something? It says you were just like those comments and perspectives of these people do not reflect the company that in which they represent, or blah blah blah, whatever. Yeah, you should totally put that in here. Yeah, I just think that new players in general are trying to just wrap their heads around the game, and they're not trying to. They're they're already overwhelmed. That rule book, period, is a bit overwhelming, you know. Um, but then you have, this is where I'm going on to the next chapter. 15 minutes in. I'm trying to be mindful of time too. Um, I think that the you're gonna get gamers too that used to play other games or still do play other games, like, you know, Magic the Gathering people, or, you know, video game people. Or, I mean, video games is a little different, I guess, because you sort of learn through the game itself as opposed to having to read. And I don't know, I haven't played video games forever, and since like Nintendo 64. So yeah, buddy, Sega Saturn. Um oh, you remember TurboGrafx 16? Yeah, Bonk. That game was cool. Anyway, and Splatterhouse, dude, Splatterhouse was bomb. Okay, so you got you got new 40K gamers, or Age of Sigmar if you want. This is more of a 40K thing, because that's what he was talking about, the 40K fact. But you've got also new gamers coming into the game who are already going to be like cut in. They're going to be like, yeah, I play War Machine, or I play Hordes, or I play, I don't know, name other miniature games. Infinity is a whole different ball of wax. That game, which I'm getting into because of my buddy, he's trying to bring me over to the dark side, and it's just fun because it's totally not anything anything like a Games Workshop or any of the predecessors that admire and based a lot of their rules off of kind of the Games Workshop way of doing things. Infinity is just a total different way of thinking. And if you want to I don't want to say that. That's going to stir way too much shit. But in my perspective, Infinity is way more complex and way more strategic because of your flexibility that you have. 40K, I look across the table, I know pretty much that everything moves, everything could potentially shoot, and everything could potentially charge, and how far those things can be. Infinity, it could be one dude who just shoots up with steroids and burns the entire turn running around just causing crazy shit to happen, and nobody else does anything. And I know it sounds weird, and I'm not trying to like be like, this is not turning into an Infinity thing, but it is a way different way of playing a miniatures game. It's pretty crazy. Check it out if you're interested. But anyway, going back to you, Rob. Sorry. I do tangents, and I'm almost another 10 minutes in, which means I could sip another sip of beer. All right, I made for good TV right there. Sorry everybody. I have to. I'm not gonna get another sip for 10 minutes, so I needed to throw a few more swigs back. So, new players that are old gamers getting into 40K, I don't think are gonna have a problem with anything. If they're like strategy kind, you know, if that's their mentality, if they're kind of these kind of people, they're going to be like, give me the FAQs. I want to know the latest and the greatest, because I want to figure out how I can make an underground burrowing, whatever the Tyranid burrowing thing that goes underground, Trigon or whatever. I want to make sure I know how to figure out how to make that little representation of it on underground block line of sight somehow until they write a FAQ about that, right? Because that's what those guys like to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. Let's get that straight. Exploiting the rule to win a game isn't wrong, because it's clever, right? And other people are going to do it, and then it'll get to the point where it's either just way too out there, like the whole flying jet thing, and they're like, yeah, no, they're just way too many people are exploiting this, versus like a very, very, very particular situation that you have to make sure all of your pieces are set up correctly, and then the perfect storm happens, and you can use this particular rule, and your opponent's just like, holy shit, you're right. The rule does say that, and I am screwed, you know? Because that's like, you're just like, dude, I don't know how you just math hammered that to happen, but good for you, right? It might suck. It might be like, oh, that's super cheese, at least, I guess it's who you're playing against. If you're playing against a like-minded person who thinks that way, they might try to argue your point. Or argue that point that it's wrong, and well, that's not how it was perceived. But this is the same kind of person who, if they had the opportunity to do that back, they would potentially, right? Most likely. And yeah, man. If that happened to me though, I'd just be like, mind blown, right? That's pretty much enough said. Stan Lee style, just enough said, dude. You deserve it. You set those dominoes up perfectly, and they all fell down, and they made the Kentucky Fried Chicken guy's head. And I'm amazed, because I was not expecting that. I just thought it'd be a bunch of dominoes falling over. You made the Kentucky Fried Chicken guy's head. Boom. That's epic. You deserve it. Yeah, so, I don't know, man. I think that's it. I got all my notes taken care of. Oh, you talked about the digital books. I don't really have a comment, in all honesty. I hate digital stuff. That's just me. I like tangible things. I still buy CDs, This is my last week's purchases of CDs, right? Still buying CDs. Yeah, you got to have room to store that stuff, and I get that, certain... I like the books. I like... When you buy a CD, you have the artwork. I like enjoying all that. And I know the digital stuff has all the stories and it has all that. And, I have an iPad that work provides me for what I do. But I mean, I still roll around with the old flip phone. Look at that. G-Zone, baby-o. Baby-o. G-Zone. Flip phone. It's pretty awesome. So work gives me an iPhone, which I hate. And I've had that G-Zone flip phone for 12 years now, right? And I've had, I think, 2 iPhones in the past year. Because they're garbage. But anyway, they break real easy. You could drop a flip phone off of a pole. Nothing happens to it. You drop an iPhone off a pole. You drop it out of a car, and it's done. Let alone 50-foot pole or a 100-something foot tower. So, yeah, man, I don't care about the digital thing. I get your point. It sucks when they put something out and they instantly redact on it, and they're like, oh, we got to change this. Oh, we got to change that. That's just poor quality control. And, I know that's being pretty critical, because you're like, yeah, well, they're putting out a lot of stuff. And I mean, it's one of those things where we can complain that the quality control is shit, or we can complain that they're not putting stuff out fast enough to satisfy us. I mean, we got to give them credit where credit's due. They put out... 8th edition came out in 2016. I want to say about this time, April, May. No, I think it was February or March. It was pretty... No, maybe it was April, May of 2016. Or 17. Shit. When was it? No, maybe it was 17. Yeah, I think it was 2017. It's only been out for 2 years. And they've managed to release every single Army book, which is pretty awesome. And that's, I mean, so you have to expect there to be some kerfuffles. You like that word? Kerfuffle. Because that's an epic amount of Army books when you look at the past and what they've put out in the past. And you know, I think they're making strides to both satisfy the consumption of people, and yeah, they want money. Duh, it's a company. They need to keep the lights on and keep people paid and make more money so they can invest it back into the infrastructure, so to speak, and bring us more cool shit. Like Traitor Imperial Guard. Why haven't I made a video about that? Those guys are badass. Traitor Imperial Guard. Dude, super excited. I'm really excited because when you cut their heads off and you put Gene Stealer Cult hybrid heads on, they look even cooler. You got to shave off all those stupid chaos symbols, but so awesome. Yeah, so that's where our money goes. GW is just taking our money. Well, yeah, they're taking your money and they're making cooler shit. So shush, right? In all honesty, let's be real right now. So anyway, yeah, I'm back right now. I feel like I'm on fire. I haven't done a video in a month. I got a haircut, shaved my beard, got home from work, and Rob has a new video, and I saw it, and I got all excited, and now I'm talking about all kinds of stuff. I'd normally save rambles for this, like this, for other videos, but hopefully people will enjoy the journey. And that being said, going back, I'm gonna quickly go back to the digital thing real quick. Rob, I don't care. I think the digital thing's for the newer style people who are adapting and not old like me and still ride a horse and tie it up on a post, because that's what I do. But, you know, I like the idea in a perfect world. I think moving forward, I think Games Workshop's going to be trying harder because I know that people are complaining about that stuff. You know, they put out the new Fire Slayer book, which I just bought. It's pretty awesome. I mean, I buy it for the stories. I don't play Fire Slayers, but I like reading all the stuff too. It's tangible. I mean, yeah, I guess I could sit there with my iPad at night and, you know, they also say that having those computer screens on and iPads and stuff make your brain not fall asleep, but reading a book definitely helps. Or something in paper form. I don't know. That's some kind of study. I'm way too stupid to explain any of that, but it's on the internet, so it must be true. I read it one night before I was trying to go to sleep. So anyway, it's 28 minutes, 7 seconds. It's almost 10 minutes in. I got to take another swig. I'm going to say thank you, Rob, for the awesome shirts. Oh, one more thing about the shirts. If you guys got them, you're a lucky person. If you don't, these are 2-pass silkscreen shirts. These are not like crappy iron-on. These are like Rob straight up got the hookup. He went to a legitimate screen shop and they did a 2-pass, 2-color silkscreen of not only this. Watch this. I'm not going to get naked, but look. The back of this thing. How rad is that? So here's the thing. This made me so happy. First of all, the registration, if you guys know anything about printing, like when you do registration, it's lining up the red over the white. So you don't have like a white highlight, so registration's off. You wouldn't get the whole black thing. You'd get like white here, white here, white here, white here, white here. It looks like crap, right? So the registration is clean and they're silk screened. They're beautiful. I love them. And the nice thing about this is I've gone to like concerts and stuff and have bought like band shirts, or I've also bought just regular shirts off of the internet, and they do those crappy plastic iron-ons. Well, you're back. I'm Norwegian, half Italian, half Norwegian. And I got a lot of hair. I'm a hairy dude, right? Can't really see it because the light's washing it all out, but I'm a hairy dude. And when you have a giant disc of plastic on your back, like right in the center of your back, you sweat. And it's highly uncomfortable. And that plastic, when you sit down, it doesn't really crumble really well. It just kind of, or it crinkles, and it's just super uncomfortable. Silk screen, it's like cha-cha-cha. It's like rubbery happiness. Yeah, and it just all bounces back. Yeah, Rob, I should have bought more of these shirts because they're awesome. But I'm happy I got a few. Not a couple, I got a few because I'm smart. And I was like, I have faith in you, Rob. I think you're going to find a very, very good person to make some very, very good shirts. And you did. And I hope you make them again. And I hope you change up some designs and do some different things. Because that would be awesome. And I'd probably buy more. I most likely will. Anyhow, that's it. It's 31 minutes. I'm going to cut this thing loose because I'm done. I need to upload this. It'll take like 2 hours. I need to go sleep. I gotta be at work in, I don't know, 6 hours from now, 7 hours. So I'm tired. But thank you again for listening to me ramble. I hope you enjoyed the video. And Rob, don't stress out, brother. This whole thing is meant to be a joyful experience. And if you're playing with the wrong people, that's all it is. That's all it is. It's not that you're doing something wrong. It's not that you're not grasping something. It's that you're just not gaming with like-minded people who just want to experience similar happiness. So there you go. All right, guys. Once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.